All right, everybody, welcome to another 90 Day Fiance recap chat. This time is Happily Ever After. 90 Day Fiance is a reality show that follows couples. One of the people in the relationship is from the US, the other is from another country. How do they navigate these differences, these challenges? How do they navigate just being in a relationship? Possibly getting married, getting their 90-day K1 visa, being fiancés to hopefully end up being husband and wife, all of the legal process as well that goes along with becoming a citizen, all of this on a reality show 90 Day Fiance. All right, so let's get into these couples. When it comes to Jasmine and Gino, well, Jasmine, as you guys know, if you listened to previous episodes and if you watch the show, you know that Jasmine is now doing pageants. It's something to uplift her spirit. She's been going through a lot, and she just needs something for herself to motivate her to put her in a positive mindset. But she hasn't been doing very well, and in this episode, she still isn't doing very well. And according to Gino, he has his thoughts saying, you could do better, you're not doing very well. And this is really getting on her nerves and upsetting her to the point where she's like, I don't want you to come to the rehearsals anymore. You're not supportive to me. You're just here to be my husband and not my coach. Because at first he came into it trying to coach her because he was really into pageants when he was younger, even though he doesn't seem like the fashionable type of guy, if you guys have seen him. But he had his ideas and his thoughts on the situation because he was into it himself, into, I think, Mr. Michigan or something like that is what it was called. So he felt like he had a little bit of a background knowledge. So they did the swimsuit competition where they just basically come out and they strut in their bikinis. And Gino was just like, no, it's not good enough. And, Jasmine just had it and she was just tired of him not being supportive in this arena. So she's like, hey, you know what? You're not supportive. Just don't be involved with this. So that's their scenario and their situation right now. Compared to some of their other fights and issues, I guess this isn't so bad. But the old Jasmine's coming out where the whininess is coming out. She's definitely Lucy and he's Ricky in their relationship. For all of those old heads or those that know of the classic I Love Lucy, I always say she's like Lucy, but I actually liked Lucy better. Sorry, Jasmine. Next, we're going to Angela and Michael. Now, previously, Angela believed that Michael, she found out he was in a group for men, African men, to come to America through visas, through their spouses. And she saw this information on his phone. She saw pictures of money. She saw an older Caucasian lady, just as herself, who she's also an older Caucasian lady. So she's thinking it's a scheme, it's a scam that he's into. For the past 7 years, they've been going through this whole process. And she says, she feels like he's trying to be honest with her. And she's not sure if there's some shadiness still going on, but she's going to try to work with him. And she said he has the ability to change. I felt that was a little bit naive to say, but nonetheless, they surprised us near the end of the episode. And he's like, Michael came home with her. He finally got his visa. He had on a U.S. Jacket with a bird on the back. So he is now... It looks like he's now a citizen. I'm not sure of all of the logistics and the legalities of this, but she's gonna surprise her family, which is her daughter and her grandkids, with, hey, Michael is here and he's a U.S. citizen now. So we're gonna see how that goes. But I was surprised. I was shocked. In a way, I was happy. In a way, I was still questioning if Michael was scamming or not, but she says it's going to basically come out anyway, and that's her mindset on it. Now, part of me can understand because she's invested 7 years into this person, and part of me kind of understands her logic and her desires, but real logic would say, um, you probably this probably wasn't the best choice if you're not 100% sure about this person. And it's crazy how it comes out 7 years it's a relationship that he may be this type of person, and you're just right at the end of the 90-day visa process, and this comes out, and it can be difficult. Like, you've again invested so much into this person all of these years, money and time, and you'll be investing even more as you marry, but hopefully the marriage goes well. If it doesn't, you're still responsible for that person for, I think, up to 10 years, something of that nature. So I wish them the best, and I hope everything is legit. When it comes to Lauren and Alexi, they had a fight because she got her mommy makeover for her body plastic surgery. A long time healing process, and Alexi was not prepared for because he had to take care of the mommy duties and the daddy duties in the family. So he was finally happy that she is doing a lot better. She's healing. She went go shopping with her friend. She found a cute dress, to show off her new look. Hopefully Alexi will like it. She was kind of talking to her friend, and she was talking about how she remembers how independent she used to be before she had all these babies, and she was kind of reminiscing about those times. But I didn't know it was going to lead up to her at dinner with her husband, saying, I want to be more than just the homemaker at this point. I know we have 3 young kids, but, I want to be more. And to my surprise, which I was not deeply involved in the episodes where I was watching Lauren and Alexi's their story, so I did not know, like, from the very beginning. I haven't followed them basically. So when I saw that he was like not on board, he's like, "You're the housewife, this is traditional." She's like, "Be my cheerleader." He's like, "No man will ever sign up to be a cheerleader." He's just being very misogynistic at this point. And I feel like she must have known what she was signing up for. He said, we had an agreement that this was going to be traditional. And she's kind of turning the tables on him at this point, which I feel like she has every right to. But she also knew what she was getting into. It sounds like she already knew what she was signing up for by marrying this person and his expectations and what he wanted. Again, when it comes to marriage, things change. You may want one thing in the beginning, you may want something else later on. You're dealing with an evolving person here. They're not going to stay the same. You're not going to stay the same. So when people say, I'm going to be married to the same person forever, technically you're not. This person is going to evolve and change in different ways. We hope that they do, because that's human nature. But sometimes people don't like the evolution. Sometimes people find the evolution exciting and fun and say, "Oh, this is a different person," and some people are like, "Oh, this is a different person." So it depends on the situation, the scenario, the couple, but you guys will change. Somebody will change their mind, their thought process on things. And, I wasn't expecting this kind of flip to happen with their relationship, but hopefully they're able to work it out. I do hope that Alexi can get on board with her, but I hope she has a good plan, because she does have 3 young children, and she's saying things won't change, but definitely they will on some level. And he's feeling like, he doesn't want to be left with the bag while she's out doing her and living her best life, and he's at home with the kids. He just doesn't want to be in that scenario. But it's not fair to ask her to be in that scenario for 24/7. I feel like he has to come up with a compromise, and they both really should come up with a compromise. All right, we're going to go to Manuel and Ashley. We didn't see too much of them in this episode, but they're still fighting over this situation where basically Manuel's been asking for money to send to his family back in his country, which is understandable, but he hasn't been upfront and honest about everything. He does have children. He does have a baby mama. I'm not sure if they were ever married before, but I know that he has a woman that he's had these children with. So right now I'm going to call her the baby mama because I don't know any if she's the ex-wife or what she is. So they're having baby mama drama due to the fact that she didn't know he was communicating with the baby mama. And of course, she said it's common sense. Of course, he would do that, but she didn't know how deeply and how often or whatever their communications were. So she feels that he was untruthful in that manner. They got into it, and I guess he was kind of denying, that he did anything, but he's saying basically, yeah, I'm going to have to talk to that person because we have kids together. They're still young. I'm still giving her money for the kids. And she just want to know, okay, did you send money while we were in New York? And he was like, no, I didn't do that. So they got into a big tiff. The sister was there. Ashley's sister was there. And, they just got upset, continued to fight until he just ended up leaving. And she said ciao, which I guess means bye in Spanish. I thought it was adios, but I think maybe it's more than one way to say goodbye. In Spanish, I guess. For some reason, I thought ciao was Italian. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not aficionado with all these languages. But please school and inform me for those of you that know. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. So they're continuing their fight over this baby mama communication, but nothing else has been revealed. I don't know if he did anything or said anything inappropriate. None of that. But they're already fighting over this money. The tension is high with that, of him just continuing to ask for money and not saying why. And then now he's talking to the mom. But, how deeply is he talking to her and how is he talking to her? We don't know yet. So let's go in with Patrick. Patrick, he gets emotional. He and his wife Thais, they're in her country enjoying things. Theirs not very enjoyable due to the fact that there's his both their dads are arguing. Her dad still has a resentment against Patrick for not asking for her hand in marriage. All these things are going on, but they did have a baby, and Elise is with her mom. So Patrick and Thais kind of get to go out, and they go out to the place where they had their first date. It appears to be an all-you-can-eat place. But it looks fancy. They have this it makes me think of the meat on the stick, like the shawarma meats, but I don't think it was shawarma meat. But they just give you I guess as much meat as you want. And these little slices of meat, they look like they're enjoying themselves there. And they start talking about the dads. And he starts kind of getting emotional, like, well, I came here initially, I found you here and we fell in love and got married and all that, which was great. But I initially came here to reconnect with my dad. I never had a good relationship with him as far as he just was always working. I only saw him once a year. He's a truck driver. It's in this situation with this apartment that he's been paying for, he doesn't even live in that country, but he's continuing to pay for this apartment, which has kind of been an issue between them, he and his wife. And, so he gets emotional, says, this apartment was the first thing that bonded us after all these years. Now that I'm a grown man and, it's just, a few $100s, but this is what kind of is bonding me and my dad together. And, I think Thais, as he was, emotional and in tears, covering his face and whatnot, she touched his arm. She was a thoughtful, kind wife and was trying to comfort him. I think she did well at this time. I don't always think she does well when it comes to that, but they've had their back and forth and their tension, and she says he's not very good at expressing his emotions, so she said it's rare for her to see something like this, and even different things in their relationship, he doesn't really communicate well. And yes, I've seen him just do things and then tell her in the aftermath. So he does have communication issues and just issues with he doesn't want her to say no, so he just kind of does what he wants to do and says, "Oh, honey, by the way, I did this," which I don't think that's a good style of a relationship to do things that way. But we can recognize, and she recognizes he does have issues, but she's still supporting her husband. All in all, I think he's a decent guy. I haven't seen any huge red flags, even though some of the friends over there and maybe the dad may want to paint some on him, but there's some issues, but I don't see as far as big red flag issues that I see. But yes, I'm not up close and personal. They're just showing us so much on this reality show. But I appreciate how she responded to him and showed him love and said, okay, well, but the apartment issue is fine. If that's going to make you happy and keep you bonding with your dad, that's great. But you have to do this for me. You have to, try to connect with my dad and ask for the blessing that he originally wanted. So he said he's going to do that. He's going to give it a try. And then he also asked her to bond with his brother John, which they've kind of butted heads throughout this whole situation in their relationship. Thais and his brother John. So now it's just to try to bond with him as well. So it's going to be all bonding, and hopefully all of this bonding works out. Now, he made a comment, they love each other. She's taller than him. She got up and gave him a kiss. He grabbed her in the lower regions and said something about her backside being wider after she had the baby, and I think she told him to shut up. Now, I don't know about that comment, like how he was feeling, like if he was saying it out of, oh, I like this, versus, oh, trying to make her feel bad about it. I couldn't tell the tone, but I kind of just didn't like that, the way he did that in that little ending piece. And it's up to her whether she likes it or doesn't like it. If it's an inside issue with them and he makes fun but he likes it, then that's fine. But me as an onlooker, I'm like, I just didn't like the way that he handled that and said that on the camera, which he probably would have said that off camera too, but still, I think that could be considered a little insensitive, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll talk about it later. Is that something that she feels bad about because she may have gotten wider after pregnancy, or is it something that he likes, and if it's cool with them and they both like it, that's great. But I couldn't gauge from that moment, especially when she told him to shut up, but she said it in a playful way. So maybe they'll get back to that little comment, because I kind of want to see, what's behind that. Now I'd like to go to our friends Kobe and Emily, and we finally get to see the speech at the Cameroonian wedding, which is very enjoyable. Happy that this couple is working it out, but Emily, everything seems good with them for the most part, but Emily is Caucasian, basically white woman from America, and Kobe is an African Cameroonian man. And his friend Valerie was feeling like she was too controlling, she was too Americanized, and she would not treat him properly as the women would in his culture. He said, the way they were treating his wife, Emily, she didn't want them at the wedding. They said that they may not even come to the wedding as well. So when he showed up, it was a question mark whether he was going to cause trouble or he was going to be supportive. So he got up there, gave his speech, and he mentioned all these things about how he felt and how they felt about this American woman coming in. Is she going to be good for him? Is she going to be the right fit? Is she going to respect him and support him? And, it left us wondering, what is he going to say? But he said the right things. He said, that it looks like they are happy, they're in love, and, that's all that really matters. And it looks like she's going to be a good wife to him. And he respects them and all of that, and gave them hugs. So that all worked out in the end. And then they also, it was time for them to go, and they said goodbye to Kobe's dad, grandpa. So, they have two little kids, and it was just sweet. As they said goodbye, they gave him an American outfit. It was an ongoing, it was kind of I won't say it was a joke, but it was just exchange of cultures as far as when Kobe came to the U.S. Um, that he gave her. Excuse me, guys, I'm losing my thoughts here. When Kobe came to the U.S., he gave her dad a traditional Cameroonian outfit. So, in turn, as they're leaving Cameroon, she gives his dad a traditional dad outfit from America. So he had his little fanny pack and everything. He looked great. And he did his little dance, and he was excited, and he was happy to look like the American dad. And it was just beautiful to see how their cultures connected, they combined, and a love that they had for each other. And there may have been a little bit of awkwardness, but to me, most of it was love. Most of it was, just coming together, unity, peace. I just love the whole message of their relationship and who they are and their family, and it just brought a lot of good things out. And to me, it feels like this is what 90 Day Fiance is all about. Cultures coming together, combining, showing love and respect, showing that love can conquer all boundaries, all cultures, all ethnicities, all different mindsets. And it's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate them being in this season and what that means for the franchise, because a lot of the couples are messy. They have their issues, and I think that's the reason why people watch. But to see, this is a good reason for people to watch as well. And there are other people celebrating this. So it's a beautiful thing. I finally want to close out with Rob and Sophie. That's excuse me, guys, that's Rob and Sophie. So I want to close out with them. They're actually not in the same state at this point on this episode, because he's going back to Kansas, his hometown, for his birthday. He says, I'm not waiting around for Sophie to make her decision. Sophie is still staying with her friend because she's unsure of the future of their relationship. They've had a lot of downs, more downs than ups, and they're trying to figure out what's going to be the next step. He's feeling, abandoned and emotional. Her mom, Claire, is kind of getting in her ear as well as his feelings. So, it doesn't look good, but he's like, this is my birthday. I'm going to celebrate. So be around the people that I love. And as he goes home, he talks about his player lifestyle and everything, but he just talks about also just feeling loved and cared for in that environment, seeing his mom. He talks with his mom. They meet up, looks like, for lunch. And he kind of talks about some of the relationships she's been in where she was mistreated and not treated well in the relationship. And I guess he doesn't want to continue that cycle. And his mom says, you're a good guy. It's not easy for you to commit. So once you do commit, you're all in, and you shouldn't be treated like this. So, his family and his people has their thoughts on the situation and scenario. But a lot of times, not saying they're wrong, but you kind of share your side of the story. They don't get to hear the other person's side. So they're going to be biased by you because you're their family, you're their loved ones too. I mean, that's actually a thing. But he's hanging out with his boys. They go to a club. This club has bottle service, and the bottle service girls are kind of scantily clad. They all look like they're related to Kim Kardashian, but they're on the thinner side. They don't look like they have all those extra things. They may have some, but they're not made like Kim Kardashian, I'll say. And by made, I mean literally made. But anyway, I just thought it was different to see, some of the ladies. It was not like, it kind of gave me strip club vibes, but it wasn't 100% because everyone was still dressed. But the girls are there to like liven up the party, pour shots into their mouths, and do all these things which happen with him. And one of the bottle service girls was just so in love with Rob, saying he was attractive, trying to see if he was single, was flirting with him a little bit. He's like, it's complicated. He was a little bit flirty, but I mean, it was like he was having birthday fun. I didn't see him go, I feel, too far to the left, but he just said it's complicated, which I probably would have said I was married, but I don't know what his mindset was. Maybe he thought that she was gonna he wanted to keep the door open for the flirtation, I guess. I don't know. At least he said it was complicated, because he could have said he was single and that would have really broken things up. He said, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to mess things up and make things worse. So I respect the fact that that was in his head, but he's getting a little temptation from this young lady who is just very thirsty at this time. He said, back in the past, he could have done things and been a bad boy, so to speak, but at this time, he's really trying to commit and try to see if he can make his marriage work. So I respect that that's the way that he's going about it. The night is still young. We don't know what's going to happen on the next episode. But, hopefully he stays respectful no matter what happens between him and his wife, that, he does the right thing. He respects his marriage, even though things are rocky. I like the fact that he is saying, this is really hard, but I'm married and I'm committed. And if we weren't married, I don't know if I'd still be here. So even though I don't like that situation, I like the fact that he respects the sanctity of marriage. He respects his marriage, even if things aren't going well. And it's hard to come by to see people that these days, and he 34, on the younger side of things. People are like, in this day and age and time, there's not really much respect for marriage. But if you're going to do it, I see, when people do it, for the most part, I believe they do it out of respect, and they believe that they're going to be together happily ever after till death do us part. And I'm just hopeful for them as a couple. Don't know what's going to happen, but please keep your marriage vows. I'm hoping that they do, and I'm hoping that he does, as tempted as he may be. But at the end of the day, I hope everyone keeps their marriage vows and respects the sanctity of marriage. And if they do find themselves in a situation where divorce is desired, if one person or the other person or both people are able to carry on the marriage, then that's what it's to be. Being a person of faith, we talk about faith, love, and trends on here. It's to us, it's important to don't leave any stone unturned. Try to do everything you can to make your marriage work. Only grounds really for divorcement, the main grounds is infidelity. But if you are in a dangerous situation, I would not stay in something like that personally. But, that's what the Bible says about divorce and getting divorced and having that type of situation. So, when it's things that seem trivial, when it's things that seem like that's kind of small, it's something that you have to work and stick it out on. And that's why you need to be very sure this is your person, because you don't want to get divorced over something that may seem kind of petty because you didn't even really know about it. And I know some people say let's live together so we can find and figure that out. I don't know about that. Maybe there's some type of way you guys can learn each other in a trial type of scenario, but we really have to find out about each other, see if we can deal with each other on most levels before we take that leap of giving our lives to someone. It's just common sense. But I hope them the best, all the best, guys. God bless to you. Thanks for hanging out with me. You guys showed me a lot of love on Love in Paradise. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a crazy situation of some of these people. But 90 Day Love in Paradise, I want to thank you guys for that. listened and watched, or wherever you saw us on, whatever format, because you guys really like Love in Paradise. And honestly, I was kind of digging it too. It was kind of crazy. But thanks, guys, for supporting that. And hopefully, I find some more stuff you guys are really into. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, what are we going to talk about next? Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's CBIZTV@yahoo.com. All the best. God bless.